Namaskar and greetings. Welcome to the Limitless Brain Lab episode. If you have been going through a difficult relationship, a toxic relationship, a cortisol captivity, which means आप एक stress में है, you are continuously in the state of stress, in the state of discomfort, toxic relationship, you are unable to break free, and you are living with a narcissist. So today let us understand what is Narcissistic Personality Disorder, also called as NPD. How do you identify a narcissist? What do you do about it? And is there any brain changes that we see in narcissism? If you have been struggling with understanding the person in a relationship, may it be in a romantic relationship, in a friendship relationship, in a husband-wife relationship, please see this video until the end, because I am going to give you the red flags of identifying narcissism, brain parameters, what is showing in narcissism, and what you can do to break free from it, because finally a narcissist's brain is also influencing your brain. Living with a narcissist's brain is also changing the volume, the structure, the analysis, the entire chemistry of your brain as well. You are not able to break free, you need support and help. Please go ahead and save this video, share this video, like this video, because this is such an important problem. Now we think that we are only people who are facing this problem. I do see a lot of patients in my clinic, and when I inquire about their relationship, is that healthy? And most often than not, I do come across about 1 in 3 or 4 couples this particular problem. And hence I thought that let us educate the people about this entire process. Now, if you are already narcissist, you understand that I have this issue in the brain, then also please go ahead and watch it, because for all you know, a good psychiatric care, psychologist care, and making yourself aware that this is your behavior can also induce a change in your brain as well. So what does NPD scan show? When we do the scans of functional MRI, what we see is a very crucial area of the brain called, on the left side, called the insula, which is very important for empathy. I understand you, I feel you, I care for you. In fact, another area called medial prefrontal cortex is instead getting activated, which is self-referential, which means I cannot think about you at all. All the time when I want to think also, I again get back to the self-referential thinking. So you may consider this as selfish behavior. It is not a selfish behavior. It is indeed a narcissist behavior. There is always things about me. There are 3 important components in this relationship. 1, there is an initial love bombing, which means there will be all the things that you would have imagined under the sun, moon, which will come out to be true. There is so much of exchange. There is so much of intense emotional connection. There is so much of drama into that love, which is the number 1 thing. Number 2, which is very, very important to recognize, is the devalue. Whatever you do for that person, there will be an essence of devaluation, which means you were worth, you did everything right, you did everything under the perfect conditions, but you were never valued for what you did. And the third important thing is you yourself get addicted and hooked to these personalities, because you don't know when a next reward is going to come. If you do something for these people, it is like the slot machine of Las Vegas casino. You have done something good, but you don't know when what reward behavior will come. Sometimes the reward behavior can be very good. Sometimes the reward behavior can be extremely nasty. Sometimes it can be very cold. So your brain is constantly figuring it out. What is going to be the behavior? How am I going to cope? What is it that is going to happen? This is the 3 instant findings when you understand that you are dealing with an NPD person, or Narcissistic Personality Disorder. Now, how can you identify? What are the red flags? The first and important red flag is everything about that person is only about that person in a relationship. There is no healthy takeaway. There is no healthy giveaway. There is no safety. There is no psychological understanding. It is always about that other person. Second, as I said, it's like running a slot machine, a casino. The reward behavior is completely screwed. The third important thing in a narcissistic, it is always about great being outside. So outside you are that picture perfect personality, but when you come with that person, you start to change your behavior. The fourth and important thing is the inability of impulse control. Everything about that person is only about self, and sometimes violence. There can be dissonances, there can be agreements, there can be disagreements, and there can be arguments just because that person thinks whatever he or she is doing is right. Fifth and the last important point is years have passed. You have tried to negotiate, you have tried to talk, you have tried to multiple times do the whole thing, but the person does not understand. So these are the people where the talking, where the comfort, where there is a negotiation, where there's dealing does not work at all. So if you have been living with an NPD now, please know that it is coming from the defect in the brain. What is it doing to your brain? In fact, the brains of the scans of people who have been living with NPD were found to have a major issue in their limbic cortex. There were findings that matched the addictions to that of heroin, to that of drugs. What was happening was the amygdala, which is your fight, flight, fear, and threat center, was hypervigilant, was hyperactive, and it was constantly seeking the dopamine behavior. And this entire reward mechanism, to some extent, was exactly the same like a drug addict. So it is very, very difficult. And this instant also causes your prefrontal cortex, your main frontal brain, to shrink. So you already get the prefrontal cortex, which is your deciding cortex, where you want to come out, you are out of that loop, you don't want to be abused by the person, but you can't. And the dopamine will continuously hit you. You will be craving in that relationship. There will be an extreme suffocation, but you can't do anything about it. So these are the traits of living with a narcissistic personality disorder. Now, what can you do about it? Once you understand that this is the red flags, this is the problem that you are facing, it's your absolute necessity to protect your brain, because eventually there can be a significant influence in your brain. Your life can get stuck. Your overall joy, contentment, happiness, everything can be at a stake if you don't break free. And what is it that you need to do to break free? The very important thing that you need to do break free is complete 100% detachment. You cannot say, I'll partially be associated and I work on this reward behavior. It does not happen. The second important thing that you need to do is EMDR therapies, psychologist therapy, healing therapies, because you may not be able to come out of it alone yourself. The third and the most important thing that you will have to do for yourself is start believing in yourself, having a self-identity, having that care and concern for yourself, because over the period of time, the person would have made your self-identity completely disappear. And this is where you need to get back, you need to realign, you need to resurface your own existence, or the being, or the ego self, or that identity, which is very important for your healthy functioning of the prefrontal cortex. This is the way in which you can avoid all the toxic effects which is coming out from living with an NPD. So I hope that this video was very helpful to you to understand what is happening in the brain. Please understand, it is not extreme selfishness. Please understand, it is not extremes of behavior. It is fundamentally a neuroscientific problem. In fact, the references of the findings, I am going to post it here so that you can look for yourself the scans of NPD which has been done. Now, this kind of addiction, this kind of abuse, this kind of cortisol captivity, the relationship where you are stuck, I want that you start to recognize it, start to seek help. If you cannot come out, please go to a psychiatrist, psychologist, take help of the people, credible people who understand and know this thing entirely. So thank you so much for being with us on this episode. Do not forget to comment if you have gone through this, you are going through this, you have been through this, and you understand exactly what is happening in the brain. Because as community, as together we help each other, each of our experiences would be extremely valuable. And do not forget to join just last few seats for the ceremonious cord cutting, where we tell you from the base, how do you dissociate? What is the way in which you come out if there is a toxic relationship which you are going through? Thank you so much. I am Dr. Sweta Adatia, neurologist and your brain coach at the Limitless Brain Lab.